Welcome, everybody, to Rise Above All Odds. This is a platform where we share stories of resilience, courage, and the extraordinary ability of ordinary people to begin again. Today's guest, guys, bear with me. I just want to fix something so that we have the best of it. Sis, if you don't mind, maybe you mute yourself while I speak so that we don't have the least interruption. Guys, these things happen sometimes, but nothing will let nothing stand on our way. So, like I was saying, our guest for today hardly needs an introduction and is known as else but our own Professor Joyce Ashuntantang, who is an internationally acclaimed scholar, award-winning poet. She is an author and actress. She is a professor of English, whose work has inspired audiences across the globe. But today, guys, we are intentionally focusing on just one chapter of her remarkable life. And I want to make something clear at the very beginning. You are not about to meet a breast cancer survivor. You are about to meet a woman who refused to let breast cancer become the headline of her identity. Professor Joyce has often said that one of the reasons why people do not tell their stories is because they don't want to be pitied. She certainly doesn't. So instead, she has chosen to share this part of her journey to encourage honest conversations, to highlight the importance of treatment, and to remind others that life can still be beautiful after unimaginable challenges. This conversation is about resilience, it's about rising above all odds, and it is about beginning again. Professor Joyce, thank you and welcome to Rise Above All Odds. So if you unmute yourself, sis, and say hi, then we'll go from there. Thank you.
Oh, hi, and thank you so much for having me. And I must say that I easily said yes when I saw the title of your platform, Rising Above All Odds, because that resonates with me, and it's something that I really want to channel to other women, other human beings that as they go through life, we have to learn to keep rising above all odds.
Indeed, and I really appreciate, I am more than honored. Sis, unfortunately, you always mute when I speak because of some echo that's coming out. I am very honored to have you here. But before we talk about breast cancer, sis, I would like us to meet the Joys who existed before this breast cancer. Take us back to that season of your life. Who was Professor Joyce Ashuntantang before breast cancer entered the picture? And what was life like? How did you first realize that something wasn't quite right?
Well, I love that question because in fact I just recorded something in that light. Just before the diagnosis, I was living my best life. I was living my best life. Things were rolling according to plan. In 2021, I had become full professor. I had reached the pinnacle of my career ladder. My kids were also in terminal programs. They were in Ivy League law schools. So I knew that after that, they were going to get jobs. They were not going to, in fact, one of them already had secured a job because after their internship, second internship, you're coming back to that firm, and he had been accepted to come back to that firm. So life was good. And then in September, in fact, the whole of 2022, now I was just rolling. I remember I went to Cameroon for the uh, Diamond Jubilee of my alma mater, Sika Baptist College. And I traveled there in February. I was the MC. It was a big ceremony. And the person who came to open that ceremony was the Minister of Secondary Education, my former teacher, Professor Nalova Lyonga. And he recognized me and praised me in front of this crowd. And things were good. I came back in June. I was helping my other alma mater, Kupexa, launch in Atlanta. And in August, I was at the SECA convention. I was elected the national president. I started that job September 4th, and then December 3rd, diagnosis. So it was like, my first thought was like, wait, is this like did I do anything wrong? Is it, like the fool in the Bible is like, come, your life belongs to me now. I wasn't, did I do anything? Was I jubilating too much, or was anything wrong? No, life happens. Life
Yes.
happens. And so that's all. Let me stop there. The diagnosis came when I was living my best life.
I know, and it happens really quick before you know it. But then you picked it up as if you were waiting for it, because
Yes.
what we see and how you handle it makes it gives hope to so many people. And I'm so happy that we're having this conversation. So, now you've recently celebrated another anniversary of your healing, which
Mhm.
is such a beautiful milestone. Looking back now, who is the woman sitting before us today? How has surviving breast cancer changed you? Not just your journey or your body, but your outlook, your priorities, your faith, your relationships, and your understanding of life. Who is the new Dr. Joyce? Just give us as much information as we would need and as would help another sister, because this is a much needed conversation. Thank you.
Well, I want to say that before breast cancer, I had had other challenges, life challenges. The story of my life, I lost both parents in a tragic accident when I was 20. So I had known what it means to have an upheaval in your life. Okay. And before my parents died, I had lost my immediate sister by drowning. So that was, I would say, the first major blow I had to deal with, because my immediate sister was my closest ally. In fact, the things that I came to be known by, she was the one known by those things. When she was alive, I was a follower. She used to take the roles in plays in Sunday school and YP and then give me. She used to conduct in the choir. When she's done conducting, then she gives me to conduct. So I was just copying her. And then she died, and I actually started being intentional after her death, because I wanted, I wanted to live her life. I wanted to make Emilia proud. I wanted to make Bechem to stay alive. So I had I had known tragedy. I'd also known how your life could change. I suddenly became an orphan at 20. I But then, how did breast cancer change me? How was breast cancer different from these tragedies? While I had learned to survive and to live above these things, now I had something that affected my person. It affected my body. I will start with my physical body. For anybody who knows me, they would have known that my breasts were a major part of me. I had a full bosom. I had a full bosom. So my breasts were a major part of me. And so not having them was major. But then the good thing about it was that I would say that in the course of my life, I have toyed up with a reduction, because while the guys would look at it and love it, I looked at it, sometimes I didn't like it, because I wanted to wear clothes that would show my skin, what we call open back, one hand, and that bosom used to interfere with that. So I had thought about reduction. So that's one way I coped with not having the boobs. I'm like, now I can choose my breast size, and stuff. So I would say one major thing that I had to deal with is this new change, that I'm going to be not having my breasts. And I would tell you that in terms of sexuality, my breasts, my nipples were very alive and well. If you wanted to get me going, that was a sure place. So I was losing that place. So that was major in my head. And I want to say that the night before the surgery, I threw a party for the girls. You know, I
Mm.
I made up. I was like one of those actresses in a porn movie, and I celebrated, looking all cute with the full bust. I celebrated, and I even mourned a little for the right breast that didn't have no illness, but was taking one for the team. It's like, girl, sorry, you got to go, because if you don't go, we may lose the whole team. So take one for the rest of us. So I actually had an ode to my right breast.
Hmm. Wow.
Yes.
I know. I'd just like to pop in here. I know there's so much to listen to, and we hope you give us as much information as we would need. One of the things you told me, I would either quote or paraphrase, was that people don't always understand what patients go through during treatment. So, what do you wish more people knew about that part of the journey? And why is it so important that people seek treatment rather than allow fear to make the decisions? Because we're talking here about the woman. The woman is that those two he things here, and you are not only going to take one away, you're taking both of them away, and you still sit here and smile, and you think that facing it and doing it the right way is important. So tell us about that, please.
That
Oh.
journey now, you've had the diagnosis,
Mm-hmm.
you want to know that attitude, that you can't be crying, there was that celebration. But then when I went through the journey, and I've been telling most of my sisters who have it out here, the outcome, if you detect it early, is almost assured. It's very high, 80 something, above 80 something percent survival rate. But the journey is tough. It's cruel. You have to go, depending on your kind of cancer. If it is what they call triple negative, you will go through chemo, a double chemo even before the surgery. If it is like what I had, the one that responds to estrogen and all that, you would have your surgery first. And that psychology of losing those breasts, and then after that, chemotherapy is a beast. It's a beast. You're having hot flashes. In fact, sometimes the fear is that a side effect was going to take you out, not even the cancer itself. In my case, I had to go have I had another surgery after the major surgery. My first surgery was 7 hours. Under 2 months, I had another surgery because I had an infection. And that infection almost killed me. I stayed in the hospital for that infection longer than I stayed during the surgery. And then after that, I went to radiation. My whole neck was burnt, So you're having I before my surgery, before my chemo, before radiation, I was taking one pill. I had one pill because I'd had a thyroidectomy. And so I was taking one pill. And then after this, I have all these pills to take. So this new Joyce is a Joyce that has medications to take. It's a Joyce that doesn't have the boobs, has lost those boobs. And so that is a major part of my womanhood. So I have to be intentional about who I am. And so that is the me. That is the new me. But what I want to tell my sisters who have gone through this journey and are feeling a little less of themselves, are feeling is that everybody is going through something. The problem is that cancer, breast cancer and other cancers are highly connotative. When we hear cancer, it's a death sentence. And so people want to look at you different. But can you imagine how many millions of people have died since my diagnosis? And it
Right.
had nothing to do with cancer? And who were very happy and going about and looking at people who had been diagnosed with cancer thinking they're dying tomorrow? So it is just connotative, but it doesn't mean that you're dying tomorrow. There are many other things that would kill you. If you have survived, you have survived. And that is one thing that my sisters who have survived should know and keep their heads up high. In fact, after a certain age, everybody has some kind of cocktail. So when I come out and say, oh, I have these medications to take, and somebody, I know many people who are in physical pain, they're doing worse than me. I'm not in pain.
Good.
I went through a disease. And, but another thing that I will tell you, the Joyce that is now post breast cancer is a Joyce who is aware of her mortality even more than I was after the death of my parents. After the death of my parents, after the death of my sister, I knew life was fragile, and I've been living intentionally since then. But I was almost at the edge, looking in at a distance. This happened to them, and I am strong. I'm surviving. Then it happened to me. So now, my mortality. I have confirmed my mortality. Something that all of us are supposed to be aware of. Everybody is going to die. So the person who has had a life-altering challenge, you are in a better place because now you are aware and can live life even more fully. While the other person, because they have not had a life-threatening disease, they're still fooling around with their life. So I am very privileged. I just feel like, gee, I have this secret that they don't have, because I know for sure that cancer is not in my family. And it came to me. My parents, I had this kind of tragedy. Like, why me? It came to me. So it can go to anybody. Now I'm aware of it. And if before I did not take life for granted, then you guys can imagine now. So I am on steroids when it comes to living this life.
Yeah, I just like how you handle it casually, and I think it takes off the burden of fear from so many people because I believe many sisters have not been there. Thanks be to God. I don't want to be, and many people. I think that when they hear that name, they just make up their deathbed, go on bed onto their beds and die. They don't face it like you did, and here you are just talking about it and having a chat, and we are smiling over it. When I even listened to a pigeon video you made on Facebook, I was like, okay, I'm going, I don't care where she is, I'll get her. And then here you are sitting here and we're discussing this. You said earlier on that after the first operation, you had an infection, after which you had the second organ removed. And in your previous video in Pigeon, you encouraged that if it means taking off the second organ to keep you alive, people should not worry about it. So were you taking that like as a preventive measure, or was there already a spread, or was it because of the infection that you had to take the second organ out? Oh, I need to unmute.
It's not the infection that I took both. No, I was very fortunate. Okay, so when I got my diagnosis, one of the things I said, I listened to the people around me. One of my closest friends is an OBGYN. And he told me that if there's one advice he's going to give me, he told me, you can take whatever decisions you want to take on this illness, but there's one that I want you to take from me. And I said, what is that? He says, take both breasts off. I know your right breast doesn't have any disease, but take both off. And he told me, he says, when you will see the breast surgeon, because your cancer is still in one place, the breast surgeon is going to tell you that you are a good candidate for lumpectomy. That means they can just take the cancer out. He says, say no. Tell the breast surgeon you're going for a bilateral mastectomy. That way you keep your mind at ease. And that is why you hear me. I said that night I had an oath to the right breast, because I was going to take her down when she was fine. And that is what some women would say, that no, why take it down when I am fine? But we've seen many cases where a year later it goes on the other side. So I had taken both breasts out. But what happened was that now I had implants. And then because of something with the implants and whatever science happened there, and in conjunction with low immunity from chemo, that's the thing. When you have chemo, your immunity goes low. Although they're giving you Neulasta to bring up your white blood cells, but you're fighting. So what happened was that because of the low immunity, a bacteria that is in the body that helps the body, that does nothing to us. Now the bacteria became a problem. And I got that infection. And they said there was nothing we could do about it. I remember my poor sister who was taking care of me thought maybe she had done something. Did she not keep the place clean? They said, no, it has nothing to do with anything. You know, it is, yeah. So it's the body. And then what happened was that they tried to fight the infection. They realized that they couldn't fight it. There was fear that I was going to get sepsis. And the only way was to go back to the theater to remove the implant. And when they did that implant, removed it. Now I did the radiation and we couldn't put the implant back, because the radiation had changed the skin in that place. So I didn't complete the plastic surgery. So that is something pending. The day I feel good, I'll go and complete it. And that is the thing with this journey. So it leaves your body mutilated, it leaves your body in places, and you got to live with it. But I want to correct something. I have a video out on this, is that let me not pretend that there was no time that I was not sad and I did not cry. I want to make that clear.
I'm happy because I was definitely going to ask that. I was definitely
Yes,
going to ask. Yeah.
I want to make that clear. So when I got the news, it came straight to my chat on my inbox. It was a Saturday, 3rd. I got it, and immediately the first person I called was that my friend, the medical doctor. And I said, the diagnosis is in. I didn't even know that that's cancer's full name. Breast cancer is they said ductal carcinoma. I was like, well, I named that for English. And I English named that.
My grandma named that. You don't know grandma.
Then I say country name that cancer, then ductal carcinoma and a full name. So I went and I told him, and he said, and I was freaking out. I'm like, wow, I have cancer. And he says, don't tell me that. He wanted me to send it to him. I sent to him. He looked at it. He called me. He says, we have good news here. And he pointed out things to me that are good in the things. We can work with this. We can work with this. We can work with that. I didn't want to tell my family then. In my family, I'm the happy place, and I know it. I'm the happy place. And I wanted to tell my family when I have gone through it and I can talk to them with hope. I didn't want them to see me crying, because I'm like, if they see Batua crying, they see Joyce crying, they may go down. I am the upbeat person. Okay. And I had tried to tell my sister, who is a medical doctor, about biopsy, and I saw that it disoriented her. I thought I was talking to a medical doctor. I realized I was talking to my sister.
To a human being as well, of course.
Yes. I'm her, yes, my big sister. I'm her younger sister. I'm telling her about cancer, that I have cancer, and she's a medical doctor. She knows all the things that could go wrong. So that Saturday, I slept. I took it that, okay, I'm going to make an appointment to see the breast surgeon. Sunday, I woke up. I was not in a good place. I was not in a good place. I was sad. The tears were coming. I didn't know what to do. I called my friend again, the doctor, and I talked to him. And he said, if the way you're feeling, that you need to talk to your family. Why don't you talk to your sister, the medical doctor? At least that's our field. He did not know this experience I had with my sister. So when he said that, I broke down.
I know.
And I was just crying and telling him that I can't. I tried to talk to her. She was breaking down. I can't. And that's the day I cried for myself. I cried.
Yes.
I cried. I was crying on the phone, and he's on the other line. And then at some point he says, you got to listen to me.
Perfect.
You got to listen to me. He said, this is what I'm going to tell you. If you are going to cry like that, you better call your family right now, or you stop the crying and follow the plan you have. That's when I realized that I'm not telling them.
Yeah.
And I calmed down, came back to my hopeful self, thought about my other journeys that I've gone through, my parents' death, and it can't get worse than it can't get worse than what I've gone through already. And that's when I would tell you, I took my speaker, I put the goodness of God, and I played it, and I
Amen.
danced, and I that was from that day. I waited till the 7th when I saw my breast surgeon, got a game plan before I told my family.
Right. So, I'm just happy that I gave you time to walk us through this season, because what we see out there on social media is not this part you've just told us that you cried and stuff. It only glad and stuff like that, and that we see, and we thought that it was like that from day one. So we are happy that we get to hear this. And
Yes,
you did the last couple of minutes ago, you mentioned intentionality about three
yes.
times consecutively. So just tell us quickly a bit about that. What do you mean when you say after this you've learned how to live like within, like, intentionally? You don't just live your life. You learn how to be intentional in everything you do after that. Yeah.
Yes, like I told you, I learned intentionality right after my sister died. I I was serious about doing well in school, trying to make a name for myself. And then when my parents died, I became aware of the fragility of life. People don't know it. I went to the University of Yaoundé in my first year. When I took my first, we used to have scholarship, 30,000 boosts. When I took that, I established 3 prizes in Seka Baptist College. I was 20.
Amen.
How many 20-year-olds do that? I did that. I did 2 in my name, 1 for my dad. I gave the awards for the prizes I took while I was there. So I've been that kind of intentional. My friends in the university may not realize that while I was in the university, there was a nightclub that was raining Catios. People were going there. I never went to Catios for the 3 years I was there. Most people will not know that about me. But I was very focused on my academics and my theater. So it's not as if I didn't have fun, but there were some things I didn't do. Girls were having the life, going to Obala for on weekends, Kribi and stuff. No, I didn't do that. Maybe because I had the fear of traveling. My parents died in an accident, so I was not going to go on the road like that. But that is how intentional I was. And then when so that's my life has been very intentional in terms of what I want to achieve. I want to carry my parents' name to places. I want people to know the name. And each time I travel to places for festivals, when I reach there, I'm like, Papa, I brought your name here. So I'm very, very intentional that way. And then in terms of this disease, I was very intentional in keeping myself in a good mood. Music became a part of my healing process. I listened to music. And my big sister, when she left me after 5 months, when she was going, she told me, if this I came to take care of you, but I'm leaving you with one word: intentionality. I've seen the way you're living your life. People see me happy. Sometimes that happiness and I dance is when my mood wants to go down. I'm very intentional. I realize that, hey, this thing is making me sad. I have some of my songs that when I play, I dance and dance and my mood comes back up. So it's deliberate. You have to be deliberate. If you don't, then another thing is I use affirmations for my intentionality. I have to write things down. I've already talked about, I think I posted it on Facebook, where when I was about starting my chemo journey, I put this in fact, before my chemo, before my surgery, I had this thing: rise and shine, give God the glory. I bought it and put it on the side of my bed so that I can see it when I woke up. And you don't know for how many times just waking up and seeing that just brought me up, because maybe I was waking up tired. When I look at it, rise and shine and give God the glory, I pick up.
Amen.
So you have to be intentional like that, because a lot of us wait for happiness to come from outside.
Right.
Something needs to come from outside to make you happy. Happiness is you respond to something to be happy instead of generating something to be happy. So
Right.
that is what I have done. I don't wait for things to bring happiness for me to react to. I generate my own happiness. So when the things come plus the one I generate, then I'm
Wow.
I'm on overdrive.
I think that's just powerful because listening to you, I can relate a lot. I've had ups and downs here and there too. But one thing I've come to learn, which I think is exactly what you are saying, in other words, is that grieving is allowed. However,
Yes.
moving on is equally a choice. You cannot grieve forever. And moving on and making it and being happy again is a choice. That's why you want to be intentional. I think that's
Yes,
important.
definitely. And I maybe another thing I have not talked about, I've skipped another life altering thing that could have prepared me for this also.
Right.
I experienced divorce and became a single parent. Divorce, like breast cancer, is something highly connotative in our society. You know, a divorcee, divorce is as if you feel it become is stigma. Some women can't
Right.
stand after that. You know, I'm very surprised that one of my classmates told me when I got my PhD and said, "Oh, Joyce, you have your PhD now. You remember what you said in at the university?" I said, "What did I say?" "Oh, you said you want to have a PhD because if you get married and you divorce, you don't want somebody to take their title away from you, Mrs. So that you have your title." As I said that, I couldn't remember, but that's so me. You know, that's so me. But that is because the loss of that title, Mrs., because of a lot of women, it's like they can't come outside. They can. So I have navigated that, to stand tall, to be you, to remain you. And that is what breast cancer does when you go through that journey. Again, because of the society's attitude towards it, for some people who are not strong, they can't. So I have people who tell me that I can't talk the way you talk because they that gaze, the gaze they get from the public, the gaze that you are different, that gaze, they start imbibing that gaze. And that is because for some of them, some of us will say, I was out there already before cancer. So they'll say, oh, it's easy for you. You are already out there. So people already know you like that.
Right.
But I still see people on my post when I write something about my journey want to come and pity me. They already are praying for me every time. Some don't want to even know that you are surviving. You have finished the treatment. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I try and get better. It will be okay. No, your life may be worse than mine.
I was going to take you. I was definitely going to take you there. It's like you're reading my mind because I know that we had this offstage chat, and one thing you made clear to me was that listen, uh, that people just want to pity you, and that one you don't want to hear. You want people to understand your journey, but not reduce you to your diagnosis, and that's a powerful distinction there.
And
Why is it that so important to you? And
be- be- be-
to
because
anyone, yeah, who hesitates to share their own story. Yeah, go on.
yeah, the reason why it's so important to me is because they do not hear what I'm trying to tell them. I'm trying to help them so that if they get this diagnosis or their sister has this diagnosis and they can help them, but they keep pitying me. I'm talking to you. I'm trying to help you. I have done the journey. I am fine. I am trying to say this thing to help you. That's why in my last post on Facebook, I had to be very clear when I announced my anniversary of healing. I said, I don't want a prayer. I don't want congratulations. Just answer these three things. One, have you had a mammogram? Two, have you made an appointment for one? Three, if you are not, you've not made one, are you planning to do one? So I'm trying to help you. When I come and say that, please consider doing a double mastectomy, I'm not here for you to come and make me a share because I've had double mastectomy. No, I'm trying to tell you. So the reaction I want from you is that, thank you for this information. I will remember it. Thank you. I'm going to tell my sisters. It's about you, not me. So if you keep focusing on me and giving me a share and praying for me, then you don't hear it. And that is why when you will get the diagnosis, you are going to cry again like I cried because
Exactly.
you did not hear anything. So that is why, and I want my sisters who are afraid to tell their story because they don't want to be pitied, that when you think while you are telling the story, do it. If you think that one person, it will help one person, do it. And we will just keep educating them. Now I know that when I make a post, I'm going to tell them exactly the reaction I want. Because
Exactly.
when I leave it open, I come and people are praying for me. Everybody stands on the healthy side and they're looking in. Everybody is standing on some mountain that they are safe, and I'm in the valley and I'm laughing because I'm done with the
Yeah.
valley.
See, what you are saying here is because it's simple. It's just like in class, the teacher is trying to explain something, and you're giggling and touching people and laughing here and there, not paying attention to what is happening because you are here to give out useful information. And somebody's already coming with giving you a shot at this point is kind of misplaced
Yes,
priority.
it's like, why are you giving me a shot? I'm
Yes,
telling you that I'm a survivor. I want to give you this, and you come and say, Asha, is the best. No, God will continue to heal you. Don't tell. I don't want to hear that. I told I've been healed. Thank
exactly.
God for my healing. But listen, I want to hear from you that you are hearing me and you are going to do something with what I have said. So that is why it's so big for me that, and honestly, I started doing my videos. I did two, I think, or three videos, and I stopped because of that reaction.
Exactly.
I stopped. And then I'm like, But then I've come back and I'm talking about it. And I may continue the videos and finish them. But honestly, that is how I stopped because first of all, it's very challenging to tell. And then it's like you're exposing yourself in public. It's like you're disrupting in public.
Right.
Talk about the journey. Um, look at I'm describing the mastectomy. I'm talking about this, and people are having images about my body, this body that was private. So,
Exactly.
so, so it takes a lot. And they say to whom much is given, much is expected. Some of my sisters, before their journey, maybe were not like me. They did not have a platform. I have a platform. Maybe they were not built with the kind of confidence that I have. Maybe they don't have the kind of support system. So if I have that and I can talk, I will talk. And that is how I take it, because some of them, they call me and say, I'm glad you're talking. And sometimes I share what they tell me. So I don't deny that I may have other attributes that are helping me to tell, attributes that some of them may
Right.
not have.
Oh,
So
right.
some may want to say it, but may not be as articulate, may not be controlled. Maybe they will start crying, you understand? So I understand that there's that aspect too. But then you have those that they're avoiding the stigma. They've already survived the disease. They don't want the stigma is real. The stigma is real. I have people who, in fact, they will just call me and say, where, so you they fine now? That means they're still
Right.
afraid that you know. And
Mm.
I want to tell you that it's not as if the cancer survivor doesn't think about the disease coming back, because we don't know where it came from. So it's going, but that's why when you do like a double mastectomy for breast cancer, you know that you've done your best. And now you can now follow whatever rules you have been given. Take your medications, watch your weight, watch the alcohol, and hope for the best, just like with everything else.
Right. I know, and I really do appreciate, sis, the fact that you consider maybe keep telling the story. People already know it anyway. People already see you through anyway. So the good thing is, because you told me this even earlier on, I'm going to mute you. What you told me earlier on was, which that's what I do too, because when you set out there to tell the story is to rescue, even if it's just a single soul, then the mission has been accomplished. As much as many people are coming and say, oh, Asha, or people who are not listening, but somebody hears a thing. Because when I heard her say, I said, okay, it's not common that people just say this. Somebody rises above every odd of exposing themselves, because now whether you're dressed up or not, people are like, and I already know all things now. And so what? But then somebody's learning from it. Somebody say, okay, this is giving me the courage. I'll face it. I'll make it. If she made it, I can too. It goes a long way. And so, guys, if you are listening to this, you know a sister who knows a sister and so on. They need to listen. They just want to hear someone, because at times people die to themselves. They feel like I'm just the only one in this. But not until somebody comes out clearly and says this is exactly it, and you call it by its name as you are calling it. I think it goes a long way. So I really do appreciate that. You know,
And I
what
just want to add to that, and that's why I say certain things so that those who are going through it have come out of it, or would get the diagnosis of, to be aware that I understand why doing the double mastectomy can be a problem. I understand why even taking one breast off can make somebody very insecure. You become sensitive, and women worry. I know why some women may, even after, once they go through this, they're even afraid of a relationship because they are thinking maybe my body is not the same. Girl, your body is still the same. If they touch you in the right places, body is coming on. The breast is gone, but there are other body parts, and I can tell you they come alive.
we need this, sis. I'm not joking. Yeah, because we learn from other situations. Even somebody who is blind, their other senses are very strong, and they still use them to do the same.
Yes, and yes, that's why that's how God has made it. That's
Yeah,
why the blind man can hear better, can smell better. So if the boobs are gone, the arms become very active, the legs become active, the ankle becomes very sensitive. So sensitivity goes to
oh,
other
yeah.
body parts.
Yes.
And the human being is such an interesting thing. And let me tell you another thing that the people don't know. The implants that they do, right? If it's touched, the person who is touching it still has the same sensation of touching boobs. You may not have the feeling, but they have the feeling. They still have the feeling because they're touching something
Yeah.
soft and stuff. So if you're worried that, well, wait, if then maybe you meet somebody and you want to take their hands off that, because no, allow their hands to go there. They don't know the difference. Their bodies don't know the difference. Their bodies react to the damn thing.
All right. We have a contribution here, or an encouragement from Blessing Ann says, we are hearing you and we admire the courage, and this will help us to face it. Yes, indeed, we should. We should face it.
Thank you. And that is what I am going through, whatever people want to think about, so that I can hear something like that. For one person who says that, I can take 10 people who pity me. You know?
So, see, I know that I have one last thing I would like us to discuss, but I just want to shift a tiny bit. I know that you are a mindset coach.
Yeah.
As much as we encourage, because one of the reasons you are sharing, you think that it's important for people to learn how to tell their own stories, because people hesitate, they hold it onto them.
Mhm.
However, as much as you would try to encourage, many people will not steal. Do you think that if somebody is struggling, they're facing a situation like this or a similar situation, because whatever you are sharing here, I'm muting you now, whatever you are sharing here, it's helping me not because I've gone through that, but because I've gone through another difficult situation. I'm already talking to anyway. Not anybody will talk, say it like yourself or myself, but then we like, for in this platform, Rise Above All Odds, I have another small section I call Begin Again Woman, where you think that you don't know where to start from or you don't see any reason why to begin. We can say, come on, we can help you. We don't judge in our community, we don't judge, we don't ask questions. We just say, come on, we understand you, we can imagine, but this is where you can begin again. This is how you can begin again. I am asking if you are open that a sister can corner you backstage and say, hey sis, I just want you to talk to me. I'm going, is that something you think you can do? Or I just want to know, this is, it just came up. All right.
I am a mindset coach. So there's what I'm already doing that on my platform. But if I have to go one on one, there is a fee. I'm a coach, so you have to pay for my time,
Okay.
So I can't do one on one free. But I'm doing a lot of free work on my page. For example, this week, I hope she can put it in the comment section, my link. I've just put a weekly journal prompt there that can help you already. There's question to answer at the end of the day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so up to Sunday. That is mindset coaching. That is something that I could charge at least $100 for, but
Right.
I'm giving it for free. But if a woman actually wants to go one on one and tailored to her own situation, then to talk, and I can tell them what that would look like. But
Mm-hmm.
yes,
All right.
that's what I have, as a
Right.
mindset.
So that said, sorry. So that said, if you do not know our sister, Professor Doctor, anyone call her,
Yes, really.
I do better with C's. So look for Dr. Ashuntantang, Dr. Joyce Ashuntantang. I'm going to actually pin it all on the description here, so that if anytime you're watching this video, you check the description. I'll pin it. You click on her link. You will take you to Facebook. You will listen to as much as you just want to hear, anything at all. I just smile. I was praying that this discussion just keeps going where it is going, because I was so scared that we are going to start a lot of things, because you all. I'm so glad that it's going this way. So, guys, check on that. But then the link, I'll definitely pin it here so that we go. And then the video she did in Pidgin, which is very important for countries that do understand Pidgin. We have mamas and papas who need to know this information. And so you can also request, I'm not lying, if you watch a video of us, either this video or on her Facebook page, just request, ask a question in the chat. I believe that she would bring answers.
Yes,
Yes.
I try my best to respond, but of course I can't give you as much tailored uh, to your situation, because sometimes you talk generic and it doesn't go with everybody. So in order for me to actually tailor to your particular needs, then it takes time. But I would just encourage anyone to go to my page, because a lot of the things I read has to do with beginning again. I began again as an orphan to build my life. I began again when I had to raise my family, become a single parent. And in between, I've been beginning again many times. You see stories of me when I went to England, had
Yes.
to make a life there. I returned to Cameroon, went to École Normale when I had a master's degree in my pocket, just to rebuild my life. I came to America, had to rebuild. I even went back to Cameroon, tried to rebuild, returned to America. So my life has been full of building and rebuilding and rebuilding. And if you go to my page, you'll see different stories, even as a parent, So just go there, and there's a lot for you to just take in. And if you see something, questions, you ask. I always answer to the best of my ability and within the time I have.
Right, indeed. Yeah. So thank you, of course. So I just want to let you know that our movement is called Rise Above All Odds, which means I am going to mute you first because of that small scratch here. So this movement, our movement, this platform is called Rise Above All Odds, and I've got a podcast which is called Begin Again Woman, just telling my own story, what happened to me, and letting them know that if I could begin again, like you are saying, you another person could. So looking into the camera right now says, what would you say to someone who is facing either breast cancer today, or perhaps another person who is facing a life-changing challenge altogether? For the person who feels frightened, overwhelmed, or uncertain about tomorrow, what would you want them to remember? That's me muting.
Okay. I'll tell them four things. If you are going through any life-changing situation right now, no matter what it is, I want to tell you four things. Number one, it's okay not to feel strong. It's okay for it to hit you. It's okay to cry. It's okay to look in the mirror and saving in Pidgin Namidis. Now, so life day, it's okay. Two, receive the love around you. Some people will let you down, other people will come up. Be alert to the love around you. Three, hold on to hope. And you may ask, where is hope when everything is going on? Hope is the air you are breathing. Hope is your life. You are alive. As long as you are alive, there is hope. Things can change. because it's very easy to turn around and say, what's that hope? I don't have money. Where's hope? I don't have this. I don't have that. Hope is the breath in your lungs. That is hope. Hold on to hope. That's number 3. Number 4, and this is the big one. Life may change, but it can still be beautiful, purposeful, and a lot
Yes.
of joy.
Amen.
Life can change, but it can still be beautiful, purposeful, and a lot of joy. So I'll go through those 4 things again. If you're going through a challenging time right now, 4 things. Number 1, it's okay not to feel strong. It's okay for it to feel sad about it, because you must go through that in order to come out of it. So you must embrace that. Then 2, receive love around you, and don't expect it that it must come from certain quarters. That is what makes us not to see love. If you are a Cameroonian out here, it must not come from Cameroonians. It may come from people in your church. It may come from sort of other people at work, and it could also come from people you know. Don't be afraid, because don't take that love they are showing for granted, and you're looking for it from elsewhere, from your friends. Meanwhile, your sister is there showing you love, meaning, but you are not seeing that. You are there complaining that your friend has not loved you. So just be open to love, because you need that. 3, hold on to hope. And I want to repeat that hope is the breath in your lungs. Hope is the life that you have. Don't take it for granted, because if you don't have that life, forget it. You've lost everything. As long as you have your breathing, there is hope. And 4, yes, your life may change. Yes, things may not be like before, but the life can still be beautiful, purposeful, and a lot of joy. Once you
Yes.
have these 4 things, you know this, you keep going one day at a time.
Wow. That's it, guys. I don't know about you. For those watching, I think it's been a wonderful time together with our sister here. I agree with you, especially the last 4 points that we were summarizing to let people to hold on to. And I can really, when you insist on people holding on to hope, I understand. Life may change, yes. That's why you need to begin again. You need to rise above every odd and just begin again. And one of the things, in addition to what you said, sis, which helped me, I actually had to write a book to say the testimony and hoping that it helps someone. If you are holding on to resentment, let go of resentment and forgive. I don't care what it is. If you just need to forgive someone and do it and get healed and then begin again, it goes a long way. It brought me this far. And yeah, you can pick up your pieces and do it again. And of course, you are waiting for another book from me which says recycled and repurposed. Just be excited, because you are going to read a few things here and there which will say, oh, okay, there's one thing for everybody. I'm just happy that you came, sis. And if you have another last thing to say, it's fine. If not, I think we've really had a
I,
good.
I just want to talk about, you talked about resentment, that if you do these 4 things that I said, you realize that you will not have that. And that is because it is very easy to put our problems on another person. Your journey is in your hands. That's why the 4 things I said don't have, so it's you. You have to be the one to pour into you. So once you take charge, the rest will fall in. And because when you receive love and you are alert to love, then you would not be alert to resentment. You will not be alert to the person that doesn't love you. It's not that they don't exist, but you're focused in those that love you. So there's these things that I said are very important. And if you want to make that my last word, I'll make it. It's
Mhm.
it's okay not to feel strong. 2, be alert to the love around you. 3, stay hopeful. And staying hopeful is acknowledging the breath in your lungs and that you are alive. You don't stay hopeful because you have money and because you have people and because you have food. You stay hopeful because you have life. And once you have life, things can change. And 4, life changes. Life changes, but it can still be beautiful, purposeful, and a lot of joy. That's where you will meet me with Saka.
Yes, I know. I know. I smile with you all the time when I see that. I say, yeah. It
So
feels
thank you all for listening, and I'm glad you stopped by. And Comfort, I'm glad I encountered you. As I told you, for me, every encounter in life is divine. There's a reason why we got to meet as human beings. And each time you meet another human being in this life, we hope that it is for good, maybe directly, concretely, or subconsciously. In this case, I hope it is become direct, and may God use you, continue to use you to reach out to others. And I am glad that I became part of your journey, and we keep going in this journey of life.
indeed, sis. It's been a blessing. I really appreciate all you are doing. We look forward to more. Like we said, follow our sister Joyce, listen, ask questions. And if you want to add your voice to mine, you guys tell Sister Joyce to always come back each time we need her because we need to keep these conversations going. And if you are yet to do so, kindly subscribe to this channel if you found the conversation useful because it's a baby channel, but then it's a movement of its own, and we are going places. It's a place to encourage people to rise above all odds, to begin again, because life is sweet at every level, and being happy is a choice. Being intentional is, like we heard from our sister. Thank you, Sister Joyce. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.